Howdy. So, yeah, it's been a second since I streamed. The last stuff that I was working on while on stream, I think was, well, let's see what pops up. What's this stuff? Okay. It was these elements, these, animated structures. I'm trying to see what worked best with them. So here's what that is without a, like, specially lit up environment. But, what I'm working on now is something completely different because I was doing some sort of fiber arts stuff with Rosie Brain Embroidery. And she sent me some stuff, and I wanted to get a little bit into it on my own. I'd sent her animated design using After Effects was how I designed it, and it was an outline that worked well for embroidery, meaning that it was short, but functioned as it was a weaving loop, meaning that you have an element that like animates this distance, and you have a copy of that element or another instance of that element animating this distance. And so when you play it back, you have two elements that are moving over a shorter period of time, but it looks like it's whichever instance of that element is moving smoothly. You can watch about it in my YouTube channel stuff. But what I want to mess with today is I have this walk cycle that I did a bit ago. That was an easy thing, and that way I don't have to draw it, and I can just use something that I have pre-existing to animate from. And I want to try ripping it cutting it out and making like a strong textural sort of feel of it. But just having this be a negative space in the canvas. So cut out, but have it with a rough edge to reinforce the physicality of the canvas and working. I think this scale is okay. I'll see how it functions, how well I can deal with it, and then how well it functions when it's cut out, whether or not it keeps its hold of stuff. I have my camera turned at a 90-degree angle because I don't really have people watching the stream so frequently, but I do have people watching the short form edits that I do that are vertical. So as I'm working, I'm going to change lenses to one that has a tighter crop and also has it's macro, so I can get like real up close, which I think will look good for when I'm cutting this out. And what I might do, I'm trying to think if it's better to cut this out in reverse by, I'm going to talking through and thinking simultaneously. What I'd like to do is use my light table and trace out this walk cycle that I have onto the fabric so that I can cut it directly from the fabric. But I don't want to have I'll probably use pencil because I don't want to. I have some different tools that I can color onto fabric and then wash it off with water, but I don't want to deal with water and drying and waiting for all that right now. So I'm just working with dry materials, which means I'll use a pencil, which means that it'll have some residue. So I might mirror it in Photoshop after the fact. I don't know. But as I'm going to be working and recording little bits here and there, I'm going to be switching to a lens so I can get some interstitial stuff. That's got like a nice close focus on it so that you can really see the material and how it's working. Not 100% sure how well this will or won't work. It's an experiment, and I'm just going to get to it.
Lesson 98. To ask versus to ask for.
Lección 98. Preguntar versus pedir.
I always ask for a good translation.
Yo siempre pido una buena traducción. Perfecto.
I have not sung at the party.
Yo no he cantado en la fiesta.
He has confused one girl with the other.
Él ha confundido a una muchacha con la otra.
Time to scan. I don't know how these are gonna turn out exactly, but I got them. Okay, 1200 color, and we're changing this destination. This is 26. This is fabric rip 1 scan. And change the destination. Live designs. Ripped fabric. New folder. Ripped fabric scans. And it'll take a minute to scan because I'm doing 1200 DPI.
Has been trading with Canada for a long time.
Hace mucho tiempo que los Estados
I
Unidos
can
comercian
Photoshop's
con el
open. And then I've got this. And I can show Photoshop. I'm gonna flip and scan this a second time. there's a bit of a contrast you can see between the first frame and the subsequent frames, but whatever. Open.
They accomplished it 1 week ago.
Hace una semana que ellos lo lograron.
Image mode, RGB color. Don't merge. That's all right. Do not know what this will end up looking like, but let's...
Nosotros conversábamos. Hacía horas que nosotros conversábamos.
I think this might be better to do like frame by frame on some
He had
stuff.
been organizing that
Let me see
program
what this
for
looks like as a
years.
default export, and then I'll make some adjustments.
Hacía años que él organizaba ese programa.
Because it's walking along the bottom frame, but I think it's more interesting if it's got its own sort of thing. Anyway, view guides, new guide layout. This needs to be 5 columns and 3 rows. Let's check the size on this. Pixels, resample. Pixels. I think that's right. Let's slice from guides. Save these out. Add a moment. Check on my Tamagotchi. Beep. That one's fine. Saving stuff out. It's going slow because these are decent sized. Oh, now it's ready. Let's zoom on out. Select all these. These should be a JPEG. takes a moment. It should only be 1920 by 1080,
plural.
which isn't tiny, but it's not large.
Comed más temprano esta noche. Comed más temprano esta noche.
Let's eat here.
Comamos aquí.
All right, let's save these out. Live designs, ripped fabric 01, stills. I'm just gonna name them correctly. Stills front. And I want to see what this looks like, so just a moment. Bum ba dum bum. Bum ba dum bum. Bum ba dum bum. Bum ba dum bum. Scripts, load files into stack. Browse. Open these up. I think these will be more interesting from the reverse and with a higher contrast placed on the blacks. Okay, I might end up 1 divided by 15. Yeah, I think I'm going to redo the first frame. Just on the side somewhere. Let's darken not the heck out of it, but let's darken this a decent chunk. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to redo the first frame and scan it in. The same orientation ideally. I can do it just to the side here or up above. Do it to the side.
Ota.
Replace the English words. Formal.
Reemplace las palabras inglesas.
Don't say that. Familiar, plural.
No digáis eso.
Waiting on some stuff. Putting this blade away because I've cut myself on loose blades before. It's still saving out slowly. Make this just a little bit here, delete that guy. Just want it to be like about here. Front 2. And that's big. Make this resample pixels for 40. Save this out, and then I'll come back in a minute. My socks are covered with little bits of fabric. And I think what I'm going to do is just align it to stills. Okay, let's save this. Just want to be able to share this one in a moment. Start scanning this
La reparación fue tan
before
cara.
I lose track of stuff.
Your floor is so clean. Familiar.
Tu piso está tan limpio.
And come over to OBS. Switch out this image. I think it's interesting. I think that this will benefit from having the reverse where the outline isn't there and updating frame 1 where there's that flash of black that's stronger. I think sort of what I'm learning from this is I should work a little bit larger. So that I can play a little bit with the length of a thread or two. Because right now this is to have a rough edge and to have it cleared out. It has to be pretty much just fully cleared. Let me open... I do want to see this as its own thing, but let me open up this guy and come in here. Didn't copy enough of it. Make this a little bit warmer. Oh, come on. Okay. Blue.
Este estado tiene tanta madera como California.
Just a little bit warmer. And green.
Este estado tiene tanta madera como California.
I don't like plastic as much as wood.
This is definitely better with the
No me gusta el plástico tanto como la madera.
frame 1 cut out. So I'm just gonna save this out as the same file name, so once it's done saving, it'll show you what's up. Alright, save this as frame01.gif. Do you want to replace it? Yeah, I do. I want to see what this looks like when it's the other side. Okay, how do I want to do this? Let me go ahead and open backside, which is this one. Yeah, I think I'm just going to make
This t-shirt is less bright than mine.
a version of this image rotation for
Esta
canvas
camiseta es
horizontal.
menos alegre que la mía.
And I'm just going to take this and sort of trace it over some stuff. Okay, so take this, save out the stills of this. Save those out. Give it a moment. Scripts, load files in a stack. Browse. Jump up. Ref stills. Grab all these. And now I don't really have a set. You know what? Let's undo this. So that's frame 1. I'm just going to save that. Close this. Okay, I was like, I thought I had this. Edit.
This is my younger brother.
Este es mi hermano menor. Uh, 58. It's 3. Let's get frame 4. Frame 5. elegantísimos.
Frame 6.
Sus sostenes son elegantísimos.
Frame 7.
Lesson 106. The present subjunctive of regular verbs.
Lección 106. El presente de subjuntivo de verbos regulares.
I don't want that you deceive me. Familiar.
Yo no quiero que tú me
Frame
engañes.
8. Frame 9. Frame 10. Frame 11.
No examinéis mis maletas.
Frame 12.
Yo prefiero que vosotros no examinéis mis maletas.
I fear that you depend too much on me. Familiar.
Yo temo que tú dependas demasiado en mí.
Frame 13. $14. Frame 15. And get rid of this one. And let's make frames from layers. I think this is about good, but I think that probably it could do well with the addition of, or if this were larger.
El presente de subjuntivo de verbos irregulares.
I wish that they would look for my money.
Deseo que ellos busquen mi dinero.
I think this could benefit from just being, from referencing live action and being larger. Like the physical frames being larger. I think it's the start of something more interesting. Give it a bit. Oh, this is full size. The first one benefits from having the outside traced a little bit, but I don't know what the best approach to this is. Say done on that. Let me do something quickly. 0.1. Save these stills out. And adjust the scale on these, the size, the scale. I was saying one, then I said the other. Now let's adjust the size, make this 50%. And now let's save this out so that it's not like 30 megabytes. It'll be closer to maybe 7, I hope. I'll decrease the total number of frames. Actually, I need to change the frame rate. Now I can compare and contrast a little bit. These might have better positioning. This animation that I'm exporting now, because I did it frame by frame, as opposed to the first one I did it as like a grid alignment. think it's more clear what's happening in this one, the one on the right, because it has that outline that you don't necessarily read as an outline, but I think the one on the left is more interesting because it doesn't have the outline. That being said, I think that working a little bit larger, just a little bit larger, or with a fabric that has a greater thread density, would be to my benefit. I think it's interesting. I think it can be better, and I think I could use better animation as a reference point for this. But for the time that it takes to transfer an animation to this, not so long of a thing. A little bit of some work to realign the frames, but I think it's interesting, and I think if it had a little bit more of a one-for-one connection to live action movement, recorded live action movement, I think it would benefit from it. So I think that's it for today. I'll continue exploring this tomorrow, but as the week goes on, I may or may not be around because I have some people visiting, and yeah, I think that's it for today. I'll do a little spiel now that I posted a tutorial / process thing / review-ish deal. I have 2 of them out now that are based on weaving loops. Let me just pull one of those up for you. Do I have it saved out as a GIF? I think I do. Where's that? Review videos, weaving loops. Part 2 GIF. Yeah, okay. So I'll just show you this now. Let me mute Photoshop. And this guy here, this one I'll leave going, this one I'm going to switch out what the image is.
They think that she is French.
This is live design.
Ellos piensan que ella es
Weaving
francesa.
loops, part 2. Okay. So if you like this sort of animation, which is called a weaving loop, which is ironic because I just messed with weaving stuff, but this animation that you see on screen right now, oh wait, I have it pulled up in a different tab already. I'm just going to throw this in the chat if you want to see the process of creating this animation and how you can make it on your own, assuming that you have a general understanding of how to transfer the frames. This is just going over how to make the physical animation and the sort of concepts behind it for a weaving loop. If you want more info on weaving loops, I have another tutorial / review thing talking about working in After Effects and going over more in depth what's happening with this. It's called a weaving loop because you have like stuff sort of weaving in and out that's the same, it connects to itself, it weaves into itself is my understanding of it. I didn't know it had a name until recently. Actually, when I was like starting to make a tutorial, I saw iterations of it, and yeah, so I wanted to talk more about it. That's what the sort of animation that goes into. I'm just going to pull up another one because I'm promoting myself as best as I can. Is it in here? In embroidery collab floral pattern? Yeah, okay. That's going to be big. Let me resize this. This is a weaving loop that kind of... I've done a couple things with a woman named Rosie, goes by Rosie Brain Embroidery. She has an embroidery machine, but one that she's still controlling, which is what I like about it. I'm not as interested in fully automated processes. I like things that have a little bit of human input still, and you can have slightly less chaotic versions. When you look at the back, that sort of highlights the process and shows the texture of it all. This is a lot cleaner than fully automated embroidery machines, but anyway, I was trying to make something that would work well for embroidery. Even though she has a machine, it still takes a long time to illustrate something, and so this animation right here, this bottom one, is 6 frames long, which means it's only 6 sections that she had to embroider, or 6 repetitions of it, which is what a weaving loop is sort of good at doing. It decreases the number of frames while maintaining a sense of motion. And what's actually happening is my little red dot. If you follow a leaf, it goes like this full length of the animation. It's coming in from outside the frame and goes all the way along. But what's practically happening for the animation and for what Rosie had to do is there are 6 frames, and it's just going from the leaf in one position to the next position, one position to the next position, next position to the next position, next position to the next position, and it's doing that over 6 frames. And kind of a similar thing happening with these rotating flowers. And it's a little bit easier maybe to visualize in this top animation here. It's functioning very similarly. If you follow like this
There is no doubt
blue
that they're
line,
going
you
to
can
Mexico.
see that there's 4 of them at any given time. And it's just animating from one position to the start position of the next section, and then it repeats. So over 8 frames, over half a second, it's just sort of going from like here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here, and having 4 of the things visually present at any given time allows you to do that. Okay, if you want to talk or hear me talk about that more in depth, links are in my YouTube channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to watch this stream or other streams in full, you can go to the live section of my YouTube channel. If you want to see longer form tutorials and some other things, there's a few here on YouTube. If you want to follow me on other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Spotify, all of those places. I'm TraceLoops, TRACELOOPS. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/TraceLoops. Where you will find high resolution versions of artwork that I create during streams. You'll also find some older tutorials, and then at higher tiers, new songs from me most weekdays. And at the highest tier, you get a monthly piece of artwork from me in the mail. What was I gonna say? I think I mentioned that if you want to follow me on Spotify, I'm also on Spotify. So if you like the music in the background, you want to stream it, most of it's on Spotify. It's another thing where it's like most of, because it would be way too much stuff for people to sort through if I had all of my music on Spotify, because I make so much stuff music-wise, and Spotify is just a sort of edited version. But if you want all of it earlier and able to be downloaded, that's on Patreon. Okay, that's it for today. Plan on being back tomorrow to explore this a little bit more, maybe work with a slightly larger section of fabric so that I can get a clearer
Eat some
silhouette
drinks for the party.
while keeping the
Familiar,
texture
plural.
present. And yeah, thanks for watching. Adios.
¿Necesitáis algunas bebidas para la fiesta?